Welcome back guys on my YouTube channel. Today I'm really excited to announce a new collaboration. So another manufacturer adds to the other manufacturers for which I work and with which I work. Today we are here with Stark Varg. Now I know loads of you in the comments will start whining about electric bikes, about that they are not real bikes and stuff like that. Well, first of all guys, I really need to share this experience with you because I thought the same. You know, I would joke around about electric bikes until I got invited to Barcelona and went on a motocross track and tested this bike, still in the early stages of prototyping, and I was amazed. I didn't expect to have such a good feeling, and that is why today I'll also share with you and capture the emotions and sensations of a friend that I'll bring riding with me that has never tested in his life any electric bike. So I'm really curious to see his feeling. Me coming from a very long experience racing motocross, then rallies, and so on. I believe that once people try this bike, they change their mind, like it was for me. Once you test it and you start really enjoying the feeling you have riding, and how I believe this will improve also my riding skills on the normal combustion bike, because you have to ride in a totally different manner. Furthermore, the future is coming. Mxgp just announced that in 2026 there will be a World Motocross Championship with electric bikes that will race together on the same day on the same tracks as the World Mxgp Championship. This not only is an exciting news, but this could also make some riders' dream come true. We all dream about racing the World Championship. Like in my case, I didn't have enough talent to pursue the motocross career, but now that in 2026 the World Championship will open to electric bike with a specific class only for electric bikes, maybe starting to train now in 2024 and using these bikes, I might be able to fulfill that note on my bucket list of experiencing from inside a World Mxgp race, clearly in the electric bikes class. Speaking of Mxgp, I clearly had to make a factory build, a proper factory build, pumping this bike up, bringing it to the highest performance, and I believe this bike is more factory even of the Stark official bikes that you see racing in arena cross. Now I'll guide you through how I managed to pimp up this Stark, because I see some around on the tracks and no one is really making any upgrade. There isn't really any accessory available. So I worked with different companies to make accessories available that not only improve, in my opinion, the aesthetics of the bike, but also the performance of it. Later today, I will go to the motocross track and I'll share with you which are the advantages and which are instead the disadvantages, as I work with different manufacturers. So not only Stark, but I also work, for example, with Yamaha and others, meaning for me, I can give you an unbiased opinion since I work with different realities and not necessarily I need to root for only one, but I can give freely my opinion. You might be asking yourself, why do I have here 3 Starks? And the reason for this is because these are 2 demo bikes that I'll bring regularly to the local motocross tracks, and people will be able to rent them, test them in case they have doubts or in case they're just curious to see what's the feeling of riding an electric bike that has 80 horsepower. This means it's the most powerful motocross bike on the market, because no 450 reaches this peak performance that you get on the Starks. To end this introduction and move on to the hot part of today, the Stark Vargs will be available to purchase directly from Rebel Exports. The same goes with all the aftermarket factory accessories that I'll show you in today's video.
On the advantages side, they use less space in the van, so it's easier to fit 3 bikes because you don't have to worry about the exhaust. But also, if you have the foot brake, you don't have to worry on the side of levers touching. So let's go. Okay, we have 2 very different type of riders, because clearly I've been riding it a bit, but I want to have the reactions. And so we have here Norman. We used to race the National Motocross Minicross Championship in when we were like 6-7 years old. He's a very fast rider. Currently, he's leading the Lombardia Regional Championship Motocross. And then we have Alberto, our broccoli producer. He's a total amateur rider, but he has a factory level that is insane because look, he comes here with his car, he finds his bike, he has official gear on. He has never tried an electric bike, so it will be cool to get his reaction and then also speak also with Norman. He has been spending about a month and a half on the bike, so we'll see. Now let's get ready and get in the track. Okay, Alberto, you just got off your first ever session with the electric bike.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts since you were the one saying, electric is shit?
I have to say, that's cool.
Why? Isn't it easier for someone like you that you're an amateur rider?
At the beginning, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be tough, maybe with the gear, I don't know, there is not the clutch. It's like, but after one lap, I was like, oh, okay, so it's not that hard.
Or when you open the throttle, it has a lot of power.
Yeah.
Did you try changing power?
No. It was the 40, because I'm a rookie. It was like, not like boom. It was like slow and then go up, and you gotta. And after, if you leave the throttle, you get a little brake. So there was also like quite...
But you can adjust the engine brake also. Did you feel more or less confident compared to the 254 stroke, the Kawasaki that I let you ride the other time?
I mean, with the 2-stroke, it's another story. But with this one, compared with the 4-stroke, because we tried the Kawasaki 250 last time, was cool, perfect, but here was more smooth. And first of all, I'm a beginner, but I didn't feel nothing on the arm. Like the arm was like, I can ride again.
You're happy I'll let you ride it again?
Yeah. Thanks a lot for the bike. Nice deal, eh?
A pair of broccoli.
Yeah. A box of broccoli. But it's gonna be the future for sure at the end. I mean, I was really a big fan of 4-stroke, but they're gonna be the future.
Now the impressions of Norman, that he spent much more time on the bike. Let us know what are your thoughts coming from KTM 450.
The KTM 450 is more different than like this one. I tried to test in this bike in 1 month, and I'm very, very happy because when I tried to the first time, I have a good feeling. I'm the first riding.
And you're using it at 80
I use only the 8 horsepower because
I don't know how you do it, but
because I don't know why I love it when you open the gas is more power. And I race it on a supercross, and with a 450 I have a very small gear, so I would like to replace the same sensation with this bike, electric bike. And more important is I don't change nothing on this bike. For example, it's completely original.
Yeah, it's not like my bike where you have all the factory suspension and so on. This is completely stock.
I use this model with a handle brake and the front brake like a mountain bike, like a downhill, because I drive with a downhill sometimes. And for me, I just speak with Emmanuel. The new upgrade is have 2 different kind of brake. A foot brake and a hand brake.
So both brakes. You'll have both brakes so that when he's like in a right turn, he can use his hand to adjust the rear brake, and when he's standing up, you'll use more the pedal.
But now let's look at this bike, which I turned full factory and really pumped it up. I believe this is the most factory Stark Varg in the world, as I haven't seen any with these components, and some were specifically developed in collaboration with some very famous brands. Starting from the front part of the bike, you immediately see we changed the wheels. We went with the CNC machined hubs, reinforced spokes. These are made by Han wheels. On the front wheel, we installed this special oversized disc, the Batfly series, developed with braking together with the caliper support, because clearly to fit an oversized disc, you also need the specific caliper support. This disc is very particular because this is what many teams use in the World Mxgp Championship. And with this design, it's a float-eating disc, and you see these edges are to give even more grip to the brake pad when the pistons push in. This translates in a much better performance of the brakes. On the downside, you'll wear out much quicker the brake pads. But since this is an electric bike with 80 horsepower, we want to be sure the brakes work properly. To further improve the braking power and have just the maximum you can find on a motocross bike, we got Brembo to send us these factory calipers that you find only on factory bikes, both on the front, and then I'll show you also on the rear. These calipers came with specific brake pads and with a specific high performance oil used also in MotoGP. So we bleeded all the brakes and installed the Brembo brake fluid. This means there's nothing more you can do to improve the performance of your brakes. Moving up, you see these sexy factory Kayaba forks with the special Kashima coat. These are the same factory forks that you saw, for example, on Teddy Blazusiak's Stark. Like for the brakes, this is the top of the range, and these were specifically made and set up for my weight, which is a pretty heavy weight. Going on to the handlebar, we placed some Ufoplast handguards. On this bike, I chose to have the foot pedal and not the brake pedal on the handlebar. I prefer it like this because swapping a lot from the combustion bike to the electric bike, I wanted to be sure I don't get confused and then pull the rear brake like it was a clutch, or vice versa, pull the clutch like it was a rear brake. The handguards clearly give you more protection, especially when you go on hard packed tracks with stones. I also changed the hand grips, always from Ariete because the bike comes already with the Ariete grips, but I went for gray because I believe it looks better, especially then also with the whole graphic, but that's not the only reason. These are softer and slimmer compared to the OEM. I prefer to have softer grips and to have it smaller when I hold my hands onto them. This is just a personal preference. Every rider has his own preferred grips. Lastly, looking at this section, we also placed an SM Project bronze CNC brake reservoir cap. Now from the side you can see the custom graphic we designed, me and Giacomo. We sat there on the computer. We wanted to design something that would be minimal, at the same look good, and have the logos look nice and solid. I believe we managed to achieve this with a very simple but effective graphic and putting together the color combination of white, bronze and black. To me, this gives a really luxurious touch together with the bronze of the hubs, the sort of bronze gold of the forks and the bronze cap. Then, I know you were waiting for me to say it, we went to Selle dalla Valle and we designed actually 3 different seat covers for the Stark Varg. This is the full black with the camel humps. This is made with a specific pyramid texture that provides the maximum grip. It might not be so comfortable on the long runs. This is also why we designed another seat cover that you'll see on the gray bike with a softer material and without this pyramid texture for more comfortable rides, but here we focus on the performance. This had to become the highest performance Stark Varg in the world. That's why we have all these factory components, including the seat cover. In fact, this is the same material that Selle dalla Valle uses and supplies to AMA Supercross factory teams. The humps here on the back provide even further grip in case of mud. Moving on to the rear part of the bike, we put an extension in order to put more oil and dissipate better the heat of the oil on the rear brake reservoir. Now we have more capacity and it should keep the oil temperature lower, especially now that we are in summer. Onto the rear brake, then we had, as I mentioned, Brembo send us the factory racing calipers, and this matches the front caliper, so it's a specific caliper developed for factory race teams. It comes also this with its own brake pads. We bleeded the whole line and also placed the Brembo brake fluid. Then the caliper is working onto a CNC machined adapter in order to place an oversized rear disc, always developed with braking. This not only is bigger than the OEM, but it's also thicker. We went with this design and not the bat fly like the front, because since it's very, very hot in the summer here in Italy. A full disc like this with a larger width is able to dissipate better the heat and give you even more modularity compared to the Batfly that is much, much more aggressive. And in this case, we would wear it out too quickly with these high temperatures. On the rear, you see the wheel that matches the front wheel, always made by Han wheels with the bronze CNC machined hub, the reinforced spokes, and the black rim. We also then changed the rear sprocket. We went for a black one, same number of teeth, but we went with this black one because it would look much better with the whole bike. Also because you have all the CNC machining marks here in gray, which gives the bike a really precious touch. Last but not least, we changed also the rear shock. We got a factory KYB rear shock set up for my weight. This is a bit different from the OEM. You have always the 3 different regulations here on the side, but the whole shock is a bit different. You have the CNC machine preloader adjuster from Xtrig, which is much easier to access. The only thing, as the design is slightly different, we had to cut a bit the plastic because it was touching against the rear shock. Well guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that at least I managed to increase a bit your curiosity on electric bikes and on the topic. Let me know in the comments what you think. These are the 3 different colors available when you buy a Stark Varg. It comes either in gray, in red, or in white. For my personal one, I went with white. I'll surely do races from now to the end of the year, local motocross races, competing against combustion bikes with the Stark Varg. And hopefully this will help me get better starts, because if I start with 80 horsepower, I should be able to get first to the first turn, but we'll see. Be sure to subscribe to my Instagram, because I always post content also of when I go riding, not only with the Stark, but also when I go riding with the other bikes and when I go to any rally. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!